There's about to be a lot more movement on both sides of border crossings like this.
Any progress like that is really exciting. Our entire industry, our entire economy is really looking forward to getting back to normal.
The U.S. is reopening its land borders with Canada for people who are vaccinated. Those crossing into the U.S. won't need a COVID-19 test. But to cross back into Canada, they'll need proof of a negative PCR test done within the previous 72 hours. Those tests can cost hundreds of dollars.
We're not going to be taking any chances with the health and safety of Canadians. So it could take a little bit more time, and people are just going to need to plan accordingly.
The federal government has been under pressure to drop the pricey test requirement.
All of these border policies are being actively looked at the moment.
The last very important piece is the elimination of the PCR test.
The border opened to American tourists in August, but businesses in Niagara Falls say the test is still a barrier.
They didn't see an influx of Americans coming when the border opened up, again, because of having to come into Canada and have to come with a negative test.
While the streets are more lively now than they were last year, some say pre-pandemic normal still feels distant.
So we know that although we partially opened things up, it's not enough. People are like water. They'll take the path of least resistance.
Unvaccinated travelers can continue to cross the U.S. border for essential reasons like trade and transport. However, by January, essential travelers will be required to be fully vaccinated. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Niagara Falls.
So as you just heard, some are frustrated with the PCR testing requirements that remain. And for more on that, let's bring in infectious disease specialist Dr. Susie Hoda. And Dr. Hoda, how useful are these PCR testing requirements at this moment in the pandemic when you consider the vaccination rates and the case rates that we're seeing?
Well, it is questionable, really, and it's hard to get empiric data on just how well these testing strategies have worked in capturing cases at the border. I mean, we want to keep things as safe as possible for travel, but at the same time, the PCR test you take at 72 hours before you cross the border reflects your status at that time only. And so people can incubate virus and bring it into the country without realizing it.
What do you think needs to happen in the coming weeks or months in order for those testing requirements to be dropped? What sort of things will you be watching for?
Well, the overall case counts in the U.S. have been dropping, but there are some hotspots that still have increasing or higher than we'd like case counts. And so I think seeing some stability and reduction in the cases would be helpful. But also the vaccination rates in the U.S. are lower than they are in Canada by, about almost 20%. So, it's trying to see some better vaccine coverage, which I do think will be helped as well by having the younger age groups vaccinated.
Dr. Hoda, thank you very much.
Thank you.